Hey guys, welcome to Kipoerneke's Corner. I am over in EverQuest Legends again. And I just rounded up some berries, it seems, over in Kelethin. Let's see if we have anybody else currently on this list right now. Looks like we don't have anyone on at the moment from our big old 4 friends. So that is good to know. I was thinking if someone was over in the area, I would go and play with them, but I suppose they're not. So, let's see what I need to do. Probably first, I should hit the bank and unload some of these items, right? And then I guess we can go on the great bats and wolves hunt again. Now, where's the bank, you may ask? I wonder the same thing. Let's click find, and we're going to select banker. And then we're going to follow this trail, which is red on the map, but yellow on the screen, back the way we came from. Theoretically, straight to the banker. One trick that I've learned is that as an ogre, of course, the door is much too small in this area, but what you can do is you can click the door again to shut it after initially. So when you open it, you can be going like this, and you can't get in. But then you can click to shut, and boom, there you go. You can get in. So, just so you know, just shut the bank again, or the door, not the bank. It doesn't have to be the bank door. Any door, whatever door it is. Shut it, and you can go in while it shuts. So, good to know. Very helpful information, in my opinion. Now, let's hit the trade skill depot here, and throw these items in to there. These are grubs. They're for fishing, so I'm actually going to keep a hold of them. We will throw the ore into here, and the water should have clicked the shift button so that we could transport more than one thing at a time. We got roots here, toss that on in. This is rabbit meat, and I'm tempted to keep it, but I'm not going to. I'm going to put it and the vegetables as well into there. I don't see any reason necessarily to keep that in the bags at the moment. I do notice that I'm going through the flasks of berry juice at speed, so that's something that we're going to need to keep an eye on, certainly. We've got a bunch of fresh fish here we can throw in. Let's click the shift, toss it in there. Alright. Now, we only have 12 fishing bait left. That's going to come into play later on. Let's get a good number of these bone chips out and stack them with the ones that we have. Alright, we took all the bone chips, we got those stacked up. I don't think that I have anything else in here that I should have in my bags, but I'm going to make certain of that. I'm going to look for a spiderling eye, and then the other thing that we're going to look for is the ruined wolf pelt. So, no, I don't have anything like that in there. So we're moving right along. I can go and turn in the tin that I have ready at the moment, but I don't really know that it'll help. I suppose I could check. At the very least, let's shut that door so we can walk out. At the very least, we can find the Emerald Warrior's location, maybe. And if we can, that's where we're going to turn this into now. The guy's name starts with an R, I think. The Emerald Warriors guy that we turn this into. The key point is we have to find the location itself. I was hoping that his name would be here. I didn't see him. So that's not helpful. In that case, let's rummage around here. Okay, maybe, you know what? Maybe, I think it actually tells us, I think it calls it the Warrior Guild on the map. Wonder if I can just search for Warrior. There it is. Excellent. Let's click that. And then we're going to try to make our way over there from where we're at right here. So, just going to try not to fall off of Kelethin. Easier said than done. We fell off of Kelethin. It was immediate. It was... oh my goodness. Okay. Fell immediately. Alright. Well then. There's a lift nearby, as it turns out. Right over here. So let's go take the lift. Hey, look, somebody else is taking the lift. I wonder if... can we jump up there? We can. That's beautiful. Alright, perfect timing. So, up we go. Along with Stump. Me and Stump going together. Okay, we're gonna try this again. We're gonna make the bold attempt to not fall off of Kelethin. Alright, there it is. We made it across the bridge. All is well. And here's the Emerald Warriors. Okay, open the door, shut the door, continue walking, and here he is. It's Rigrin, or it's Rigrin. Not sure. Either way, this individual here is the one I think that we want to turn in our bits to. So we start with this one, and I think we actually have to do them one at a time. So let's X that off, and then I think we click Control, and we take just one of them, throw onto him, and unfortunately, this is just a one at a time situation, as mentioned. So give him some, and I wonder, can we look at the faction and watch it change as we do this? Maybe. Let's come over here, and what I want to do is a search for Emerald. That wasn't the way. That was 100% wrong. Let's try this again. X out of there, X out of here, and I want to click this search bar right here for Emerald. Only with, I've got my hands on the wrong keys, man, I tell you what. Alright, there we are. So now it says the Emerald Warriors view us finding. That's not actually the ones we want to look at. It occurs to me. We want to look at the Kelethin Merchants. So there it is. Alright. They don't love us at all. They are threatening to us. They hate us with a passion. So, let's try this again. We're gonna go Control, click on a bat, and toss it onto him. And now we've got that window open so we can toss the other things into it as well. And then hopefully we'll see this change a little bit. Right now it's negative 721. And now negative 716. So it did change by 5. We have 216 more points before we get to dubious. That's gonna take a minute. Let's shut some of these windows that aren't necessary for this. And we may as well not hit shift, but rather hit control. And we may as well do most of these trades that we have available. It's not going to get us very far. And we may as well knock them out while we're, while we're here anyway. Just to see exactly how far we have left to go. You don't need to release control between items. You can just continue to hold it while you go from one to the next. You do, though, have to turn them in one by one, I believe. Last time I tried to trade in stacks, it did not work. It said you have to have the right amount of things. You can't go over, can't go under. No partials or anything like that either. So I don't want to use all of my things because I want to keep that slot open for more bat fur, but I want to do most of them. So we're going to do all but one. Alright, so we give all that to him. Now where are we at? Negative 681 is where we're at the moment. So we still need quite a few turn-ins because okay, we're 181 points to dubious though. I think we only need to get to dubious and then we can trade. I think. I could be wrong, but I think so. So what do we need? Like 31 more of each of these items, I think. So if that's correct, then we would need a total of 30 more of the bats, because I have one in my inventory. And then we're actually good on everything else. So really what I need to do is go hunt bats specifically. If I were to focus on just hunting bats and not anything else, I might could finish this fairly quickly. I don't know if that's what I should do, but I think it might be what I'm going to do for the moment. On a great bat hunt. Unfortunately, I'm tempted to fight basically anything that I see, and you know, and I kind of feel like, why not, right? Because it's gonna respawn other things whenever I kill these things, and I think that there's a chance that it might be a bat. So why don't we just kill all of the things as well? I think so. It's I was really not wanting to hit that giant wasp drone. Not sure why, but see, since I'm just throwing a dot on them anyway and then moving on, I feel like it doesn't, you know, although it adds up every time that I stop and do this, I still feel like I'm not spending that much time doing it, and knowing that it's going to make them repop, you know, to kill the other things. It seems like not the worst plan to just kill all of the things and get all kinds of weird loot from it. It's primarily going to stack what I already have, and I'm not really in a hurry anyway. See, I've convinced myself to just kill everything. Didn't take much to get. I'm easy. Alright, I apparently just let that black wolf wander off. Almost out of reach, but fortunately the tainted breath actually has quite a long range. I need to pay better attention, like how far away is, are the different things. It would make sense for me to, we gotta watch out. We don't want to hit the fairy. At least I don't think we do. I don't know that it matters. Maybe it matters. Somebody told me that it's no big deal if you lose faction. And then somebody else told me that there's not a good way to get fairy faction back. So apparently there's some sort of a fairy village or something like that. And I don't know if we're talking about Felwith or where, but a fairy village nearby, and there's like only one way to get faction for them. It's like a quest line, or at least I don't know if it's a line, but it's a quest anyway, and might be a repeatable, or who knows. But anyway, I think I'm going to stick to my original plan of simply not killing the fairies, and then we won't worry about it. Of course, I'm sure that they hate me anyway, because what I've found is that everything hates ogres. So it's likely that the fairies hate me anyway, and not really, it doesn't really matter so much. But we're gonna just go with the assumption that I might have a chance of being hated less if I don't kill them, right? Feels like probably killing them is not the way to get good relations. Be wrong, but it feels right. Basilisk, catch them. I wonder what they get. Can we get a basilisk eye? Can we get a basilisk egg? Wouldn't that be neat? Make some basilisk omelets. Unfortunately, that basilisk stunned me. Who knew? Now, I'm not really interested in hanging out and, killing it that way. but I will put another dot on it, I suppose, because it's continuing to stun me, and that's annoying. So it doesn't seem to be able to turn me to stone. Maybe that's because it's a hatchling. It's just a baby, you know. Of course, you can't turn me to stone, right? It's got to be a big basilisk for those big moves. It's an orc pawn over here. Now, of note, the orc pawns, so far I don't really drop anything of note to me except for like rusty weapons, which I can turn into ore. But they do give me a little bit of faction with I think like with the Lannadin guys, which might be called the Storm Watchers or something like that, and also with I think the Kelethin guards, and I don't know who all, but definitely killing orcs does not hurt my feelings any. I don't think that I'm going to be needing any faction with Clan Crushbone if that's a thing. Let's see, who am I losing faction with? By killing them. Crushbone orcs, that's right. Alright. Good job, me. So anyway, I don't think I'm gonna lose any faction with them. Well, maybe I'm wrong, but it feels like the faction with the orcs is probably not relevant. If they hate me more than they already did, I mean, is that a bad thing? I'm not sure. Let's see. We've got a wide range of things. Unfortunately, very little of them were bats so far. Got a bat here and a bat there. But what I need is like a swarm of bats. 30 of them, to be precise. Well, okay, 30 of them who are willing to part with their fur. It's interesting, you can't just get fur from any old bat. Only certain ones do you harvest the fur from. And there's no difference that you can discern until you kill one. Kill it, and then you know if you can harvest its fur or not. The question is, the ones that you don't harvest the fur from, is it because it is subpar fur? You would think that the fur quality doesn't matter as much because you certainly do take the ruined wolf pelts. If you don't mind taking the ruined wolf pelts, you would think you also probably wouldn't mind taking the ruined bat fur. But maybe the quality of the bat fur is more important for some reason than the quality of the wolf pelt. Like even a bad wolf pelt is good, but bad bat fur, nah, you don't grab that. I'm not sure. It's kind of weird. Not all wolves have viable ruined wolf fur either. Like, watch this guy. We're gonna attack him, and odds are good he won't have any wolf fur of any quality whatsoever for us. What have we got? Mead? Mead dropped off of a bandit. So I was right, you can get things like that from bandits. I wonder then if my other theory is also correct. Can we get wine? Are there wino bandits? I don't know. I'm very interested to find out. Okay, it's alright, he'll die in a moment. I'm not gonna waste time on him. Alright, let's get the rest of these bandits though. We're gonna find out if other sorts of alcohol will drop from their bodies. I think there's a chance for it. Quite a few of the bandits hanging out over here at this little bandit encampment. I also can't help but see that bat wing over there hanging out. There we are, let's get that bat. We'll turn towards the bandits while we cast that spell so that we don't get stunned by this crew here. Alright, onward. Got a giant wasp warrior. Worker, not warrior. Warriors would probably be a little tougher. It doesn't really seem to slow down your run speed very significantly in this game, I've noticed, to be in a fight. And as far as I can tell, our loot, it doesn't matter how far away it drops. It just automatically goes to us, or even if I haven't auto-assigned it, it would go into a pop-up window. And as far as can be determined by me right now, the distance between where the body falls and yourself doesn't really matter. It's interesting. I'm definitely approaching an area where I know there are some bats. It feels like the bats are kind of all over this place though, and I'm not really sure why it takes quite so long to get the bat fur as opposed to the other parts. I suppose they're just a little bit rarer for some reason. It's too bad that the forest drakelings are not what we're looking for, because there's quite a few of those. I'm not sure what the lantern beetles drop that's significant. I just kind of feel like they probably drop something, so I keep killing them. But as to what kind of interesting things they drop, I'm really not sure. Now, another question that I have is about events, because in EverQuest 2, you have like holiday events, and I have no idea if there were holiday events in EverQuest 1, or if there will be holiday events in EverQuest Legends. Obviously, so far, we're on the beta, so, you know, there's nothing going on in that regard. But I don't know if that means that, that there never will be, or if there just aren't yet. I think I can set the bones and spiderling eyes, and probably even the pelts to automatically go into my bank at this point. Not really any need to continue to put them in my bags, since I have enough of those items already. The only things I really need to see are the bat furs. And I could put those on auto loot, and it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to. I'm just afraid that if I put them on auto loot, that I may forget to take them off of auto loot, and that's probably a silly fear, because most likely, you know, with the server not really going to be here much longer, probably it doesn't matter a great deal, and I would benefit from putting it on auto loot. So maybe I'll do that next time it drops. All of the above, you know, I'll put the other things on auto store, and then that on auto loot, maybe. We'll see if that happens or not. Certainly no reason to continue looting the spiderling eyes and such things. You've completed a new achievement, new tricks, it says. Alright. Who says you can't teach an old dog new tricks? You've taught every dog you've come across how to play dead. Oh, very nice. It's another Slayer thing. I think that means I've killed 100 dogs. Looks like, hold on, let's expand this window a bit. Alright. Chocodies, Drollbards, Hynids, Rot Dogs, Scaled Wolves, Sonic Wolves, Werewolves, Wolves, and Wargs. And so for that, we have gotten a Slayer skill, new tricks. 5 points toward whatever we need to be able to get this reward, I think. I'm not sure. I'm really uncertain how this goes. How much does it take to unlock this? Let's go view mine here. Oh, look. we're moving right along on some of these things. Don't know how this works. Look at that, round of applause. What's that? Very nice, very nice. It's for killing animated hands. There aren't a lot of animated hands in EverQuest 2, so that'll be interesting. All right. So, I guess my question is, what does it take to get the reward? Is this like a sub portion? Do I need to finish all of these things in order to get that reward? Or no? I'm uncertain. If I do, there's quite a bit of it. Category completed, 6 out of 70. And that's the category. What is the category? Is Slayer? Is that the category? Or is it skill? It's Slayer and then it's skill? Maybe. So, how does this work, I wonder? I don't know. I looked at it the other day. I noticed some interesting things. Like, for instance, in the Slayer category that it has listed right here, it shows a 0, 0, 4, 0, 22, 0, 27. But then we've got 6 of these. So the skill, what, subcategory to the category Slayer? I've gotten 6 of, maybe. I'm not really sure. So maybe I would have to get all 70 of them in order to open up the reward. I have no idea. That's my thought on it. One of them is this. And this must be yeah, it is, it's half elves. I knew it. In EverQuest 2, there's a notice on the like on the loading screens between zones. It says something about half elves are actually only 0.49999% half elf, I think. Can't recall. I want to say human, but I think it says elf. So that goes along with this little joke here anyway. And says for a miracle of nature, they're fairly unremarkable. Yes. Okay, so now if I look at this and I click view reward on just this one, it shows the same things. All of the options for this reward. Okay, let's see. Can we put on a tag? And if so, how would we? Do we go here? What's the? How do I find the options for like? I don't know. Is it a pre? Well, I'm not really sure. How you put a tag on a player flag? How does one access a player flag? No clue. Okay, what if I come here, go to character? All right. Achievements, ultimate advancement, blocked buffs. What does that mean? I wonder. Blocked pet buffs. Haven't to let's go blocked buffs. What does it mean? Nothing. It means nothing. All right, back over here. Character. Faction standings, pet, player information. Maybe that's where I go. Let's try that. That didn't help at all. Hold on, let's shut down all these screens so that I know what happens. All right, let's try again. Gonna go back to, no, I don't want to go to players, I want to go to character. And then player information. Nothing, nothing popped up. It also said Alt Y. Let's try that. So, Alt Y. It does nothing. I have no idea why that would be. All right. Otherwise, I'm really not sure. Okay. Short duration buffs, Alt E. Oh my goodness. Amazing. Okay, hold on. So hold on. Let's see what we've got here. All right. We've got buffs. Okay, life is good again. we do have a way to separate out the different things. Okay, this is awesome. Definitely good to know this. Now, can't seem to click the EQL button. I know why. Because this window is huge. It's massive. I didn't realize. Okay, so we don't want it to be huge. We want it to be much less huge. So where's the bottom of it? Can I do F10 and highlight them? No, no such luck. Okay. Okay, right click, window, and then, oh goodness. We definitely want it resizable. There's no doubt of that. Not static. Yes, resizable. Let's try a medium. Let's try medium icon and borders. Okay. All right. So those are the ones that are being sent to repeat by the Oracle. Okay, so why are we missing one here? Is it because, let's see. Hold on, let's use all. What are we missing? Jonathan's Whistling War Song is represented. We've got the Hymn of Restoration, Anthem Bears. Is that on here? It is. So what we're missing is Silos Accelerando, and that is because Silos Accelerando shows up as a spell effect. Why is that, I wonder? All of these things are bard spells that are being symphonic orated into existence. So why, I wonder, is this one showing up in a different window? Because this is spell effects in general, and this other one is like, it seems to be temporary buffs, right? Isn't that what we looked at a moment ago? Let's move this a little bit so that I can access that button again. Okay, it was short duration buffs. Okay, we call that temporary buffs. Apparently they call it short duration buffs. It's exactly the same thing, obviously. So, temporary buffs is definitely good to know. Now, the question is this only the temporary buffs that I have cast, or is this only the temporary buffs that are cast on me, right? So the difference being, will this show all of the temporary buffs that I have on anyone, or will this only show me, or will this show me the, like, say, if someone else cast a temporary buff on me, then would that show here as well, or would they both show? I'm not sure. That would be good to know. As for Silos Accelerando up here, let's change it to resizable as well. Let's do medium icons for now and resizable with borders. I like that. Okay. So, I don't know necessarily what I want to do long term with this. We have it, I think, locked at the moment. But I want to be able to move it. So let's see here. Resizable, small icons, and borders. We can do like this, but that's not quite the same as moving it. I mean, we can move it like this a little bit at a time. There we go. I mean, that works, I guess. Let's go like that, and then we'll drag this sucker over here beside it. And then I'm just going to have to kind of pay attention and figure out how those work. And again, if they work dependent on whether I cast them or whether someone, or just whether they're on me personally. And what I want to know too, more importantly, in some regards, is I want the detriments that have been cast on me to show like that. That's the one that I'm really looking for, because other stuff, while cool and useful in many ways, is not as useful in some ways as as showing what detriments are on me. Clicked the player information thing again. I have no idea what that is supposed to be moving. That's an issue, certainly. I can't figure out what that goes to. Okay. Spell books, spell gems, all that is fine. We got hotkeys on the inventory here. There's a bandolier, by the way. Zone guides and path, all great. We got players thing, group status. I wonder what that means. I wonder if that's that thing up there. Not sure. I'm gonna click it. That was in fact that thing up there. So let's go back to that. We want that on. Group status on. I'm not looking for group and I'm not looking for a guild, so I don't want those on. We got quests here, instant information now. Oh, hold on. This could be very helpful. Let's see. It seems to not be especially helpful at this time. So, okay, maybe if we had someone clicked. Okay, is it because we're not in a group? Is this a group thing, maybe? And it's telling us what we're locked out of? What people in our group are locked out of, maybe? Not really sure. Is it, if we were in an instance, would that be where this comes into play, perhaps? Not sure. Interesting. Let's get that back while we look further. Claims. No idea what that's all about. It's a claims button. It's interesting. We have some mail here. Subject, congratulations. You've obtained your first alternate advancement point. Okay. I apparently missed that mail. All right. Let's get a dot going on this guy too. Okay. So marketplace is, I think, not in game yet. We click it, nothing happens. Difficulty, obviously we can choose the difficulty level. Let's go to options. I don't know that I necessarily want to mess with that right now. Okay, onward. Interesting things we've found. Now currently, all of the buffs that we have cast, at least, are above my player window there, which is all fine and well. I don't know if I would want to keep it like that or not, or, you know, I might could move these little buff bars around so that it's a little easier for me to understand. But I'm not really certain why Silos Accelerando has been put in the regular buffs window and not in the temporary buffs, because you would think that it would be in the temporary buffs window. But that doesn't seem to be the way of it at the moment. Let's see. Wherever did... You know, that actually makes me wonder. Let's have a look at it. Okay, it lasts for 12 seconds. Cast is 3 seconds. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Because, I mean, each of these are the same in that regard. Okay, well, I mean, the difference is... No, nothing significant. Don't know. Gonna come get this bat over here anyway. And then, let's see if we can find some other fun things to destroy. So, I could use the boots to make myself go faster, but from what I understand, every time that you get in a fight, after you have the boots on, the boots go off, and then you would have to redo them. So what use would it be really to be casting it, you know, just as I'm running around this area here? seems like there's not a lot of point. I could do it. It's a quick click, but I'm pretty constantly in a battle because I'm just sort of gathering up supplies to do things with. One thing I want to do is go find those Muddites. I believe I was told they were in like Zort's Eternal Gorge or something like that. But the key point of where that is north of Runny. Now, how does one get north of Runny? That is a question. I believe above the chemist was trying to tell me the way. I think it was him. If someone else, please let me know. But I think that might have been who it was trying to tell me how to get there. Look, we got some bat first, so let's go to auto loot on that. And then we'll sell this tooth of whatever kind. So I'm not interested in a tooth collection at the moment. Maybe later, but not yet. We've got more bats right over here. At least one of them. And the good news is that none of this stuff really seems like it stuns me, so it doesn't really slow me down too much. Now, just the act of stopping and casting certainly does slow me down. And yes, like I said, I could go faster if I just keyed in on the bats and ran all over the zone killing them. But then also, we wouldn't have as many bats spawning, I would imagine, if I just went crazy and killed everything. So, let's say going crazy and killing everything spawns the bats. That's what I'm trying to say. Not the other direction. If you're just like cherry picking bats, I suspect we wouldn't have as many bats respawning. That's my point. It was delivered poorly, nonetheless. It was the purpose. I've definitely moved too much, either during casting or right after casting. I'm not good at waiting an appropriate amount of time for the spell to hit. Or maybe, I think it's for the spell to hit, mostly. Somebody was telling me that you have to come to a complete stop before you start casting. I believe that's also true, but I think my bigger problem is moving before it's done, because I see, like, we've got the visual thing done, we've got mainly the auditory thing done, and as soon as that happens, I am tempted to get the heck out of Dodge and keep going, and that is not the way. But we are definitely getting some dots put down. Now there's a will-o-wisp over there, and I believe will-o-wisp, I think they mostly get hit by spells and not so much by melee. I could be wrong, but I think that's true. I could even have it backward pretty easily. I'm having the worst trouble seeing this bandit here. I think I got it that time. Let's try to get behind this crew. Less stunning, you know? It costs a good bit of power to cast the thing I was just casting, whatever it's called, Tainted Breath? Yeah. Okay, we got a light stone. You know, let's store that. And then we have a rusty rapier. I'll just take, we can't store it because everything's full. Of course. In that case, do I just sell it? Maybe I do. I have opinions about the lightstone because in EverQuest 2, I'm going to go ahead and move it. In EverQuest 2, the Greater Lightstone is a heritage quest, and you're questing for the Greater Lightstone. And so it makes me think that maybe it's important in this game, right? Since the heritage quests were made as an homage to the EverQuest 1, feels like might be a good idea to keep those items that were part of that. There's another one around here too, over at the Crush Bone guy. Alright. Got some hatchling over here. And there's something else. I failed to stop properly to attack that hatchling. What a shame. Ah, it's a wasp drone. That's the other thing. We got spiderling legs. We'll sell those. Don't need to hang on to them right now. And we can kill the pixie tricksters. They don't have the same faction as the fairies. It's kind of strange. You would think that pixies and fairies would kind of hang with the same groups. Turns out not so much. I don't know if fairies, maybe they just don't like pixies very much. I'm not sure. All I know is pixies don't make any difference. You kill them, it does nothing to your faction. Kill the fairies, though, I think we would see a hit to our faction with somebody. Feel quite certain of it. You would think that the elves would appreciate the pixies. They may, I don't know, they may be friendly with them, you know? But I don't know. It doesn't seem to come into play. Alright, for a moment I thought I hadn't hit that spiderling hatchling. Or spider hatchling. Widow hatchling? Widow hatchling, right? This is interesting. It's just a discolored, is it a bush? Maybe it's just discolored grass. It's just kind of poking up there. Did I pick it up? I clicked on it and it disappeared, and we got evergreen leaf. I think we harvested a thing. I didn't know you could harvest a thing. And my mind is currently blown. Nice. Well, in the future, I will click the weird things. I had right-clicked first, and I may have done that before, right-clicked on things trying to see if there was options, but there were no options, and then I left-clicked without really thinking about it, and turns out, it appears that I was able to just pick it up. I haven't seen the evergreen leaf before. It's new to me. Interesting. Did you guys know that that was going to happen? Like, have you all just been watching me and you're like laughing as I just run by the things that are on the ground? Maybe you thought that I had no interest in gathering such things just beneath me. Quite literally. It's weird though. I'm surprised that I even clicked it or even noticed it. It just really stuck out. Which, in the past, the only weird things that have actually clicked whenever I clicked on them were the trade skill stations, right? And you know, I've gone around clicking various things just in zones and whatnot, because I had thought initially, surely something would be clickable. Maybe we would get a quest or something like that. And then I found that nothing was actually clickable, and so I just kind of stopped clicking most things. Now I'm back on it. Let's sell this wolf tooth. Come get this bat. How's our bat fur collection? We're up to 3. We had sold all but 1 earlier, for those who missed that. And now we're back up to 3. I would say already, except that it's been probably 45 minutes of hunting in order to get those. But again, that's because I'm not going for bats specifically like I otherwise, you know, like I should be if I was serious about this. Turns out I'm not so serious. Me and the Joker, we don't buy that. Why so serious? Alright. Here we have another black wolf hanging around. Let's get him. Believe it or not, the giant wolf, or the giant wasp drone, was somewhat out of range there. Alright, we got it. All is well now. Got a forest drakeling over here. I don't know exactly what the wasp wings are used for, but they go into the tradeskill depot. So, it's interesting to think about. We're going to eat the wasp wings, and if so, I mean, surely a wing wouldn't be especially tasty, right? I don't know. I've never, that I can think of, like, if I go back in my memory here, like, I can never remember actively eating a wing. Every once in a while, you know, you'd be going along and maybe, you know, a fly might get in, like, you're just fly in your mouth, or like a mosquito, right? But you're not really eating that. It just sort of goes just down your throat, right? Like, you're just going along, maybe you laughed and you inhaled it, it's in your lungs or whatever. But like, as far as like actively eating a winged creature, I don't think that I have done that. And so I have no idea, like, what would you put a wing in? Now, they got the bat wing crunchies, and I can understand, like, the bat wings a little bit more because they've got, maybe they've got a little bit of meat on them. It's like chicken wings, you know, people eat, you know, those little bits of meat. But as far as, like, I don't know, a wasp wing, it just doesn't sound delicious or nutritious, you know? Maybe I'm wrong. That's how it feels for me. Alright, let's see. Here we go. We've got a giant wasp drone over here, minding his own business. We're doing some damage to the wasp population overall in Greater Fadart. I'm not doing any favors to the bat population either, but the wasp population is definitely diminishing greatly because there aren't a lot of the wasps comparatively, and we've killed massive numbers of them. I don't know how many. It's uncertain, but a good number of them for sure. We got a bandit lookout over here. Let's come get him. Okay. What we're hoping for from the bandits at this point is either money or wine, because I feel like they have a chance of having wine. And if they do, then, I mean, you know, I had an opportunity to buy some red wine and some white wine off of one of the merchants yesterday, I believe, and I didn't take it because I just didn't really feel like spending the money on something that is just going to make some alcohol. I don't really care about the alcohol, but speaking of it, let's have us a little nip of bog juice. All right. I noticed that the bog juice doesn't really give me the blurry vision, and it does give me a little alcohol tolerance. So I've got a little bit of elven blood. That's nice. Let's. What did I do? I looted it. I didn't mean to loot it. What a shame. What a shame. Well, that's okay. We're going to go over here and right click this and auto store. And then we'll loot the small bag and we'll loot the rusty rapier. Now, how small is the small bag? Small bag holds 4. So we already have small bags, essentially. Let's see if it's better in any way than anything we have. Size cap is medium. All right. So size cap's large on that one, small on this one. So we could trade out the belt pouch. Okay, small on this purse as well. So maybe a good idea to take one of these purses and replace it with the small bag. Let's do it. So put all these things into this backpack, and then we're going to take the empty purse, which is this one, turns out, and move it into that backpack as well. Then we're going to find this small bag, put it over here, and life is going to be a little bit better with that there, just because it can hold larger items. Not large, but larger. So now we can stick all this stuff back over there, and in the future, it'll be a more useful bag. We can stick this other one in the bank for holding whatever we throw in. Yeah. All right, onward. Onward, and maybe upward, maybe downward, hard to say. We got a bandit lookout over here. I don't know if he was here before. Might have been. Definitely fizzled on the tainted breath. You would think we would be fairly good on the tainted breath at this point. We've been casting it pretty often, but apparently not. Still have a little ways to go with that. Okay, can we get through Sylvan Bat yet? Looks like it. Yes, very good. And we don't want to kill the fairy maiden, I'm pretty sure. What I've noticed is, too, okay, we got a gold from that. A gold, 3 silver, and 6 copper. It's not too shabby. For some reason, I thought I just ran past something with a blue name, but the blue name was actually my own. Oh, man, I'll tell you. Alright. Now, another thing that I've noticed is that if the thing we're having the worst trouble getting is the bat fur, I think that when we're over in Ogre Live, right outside of there in the Spirit, there's plenty of bats flying around. So we can maybe focus on killing some of those instead of going other directions at that time. Got spiraling eyes here. Let's go ahead and, well, I'm going to click on auto store. It won't let me actually do that. Then we'll loot them. Our store is full on such things. Now, really, I ought to take all the things out of the Dragon's Hoard and put it into the regular bank, but I just haven't done that yet. It would make sense to. And again, at this stage of the game, probably I just need to go through it and make sure that I'm wearing the best stuff that I have, and then sell all the other stuff, because again, with the server not going to be up too much longer, there's not a lot of reason to hold on to that stuff. Even if it could potentially be better than some of what I have on. One thing that would be super cool is if we got a preview of what something would look like that we craft. And maybe there's a way to do that, but I haven't discovered it yet, if so. Got some more bandits over here. The respawn on these guys is pretty fast. And you know, you would think that the lookouts would call their compatriots when they see some bad guys, meaning us, coming along, that they might say, hey, guys, we got some enemies incoming, and then they wouldn't be caught off guard, because isn't that kind of the point of the lookout? I feel like it is. If so, they're falling down on their duties. We looted a mead from one of those guys. So they definitely have the mead. The wine is questionable. They may or may not have wine. I wasn't sure if that one was going to go through or not. I felt like I may not have come to a complete stop. Definitely did not keep my hands and feet inside the vehicle, so just wasn't sure. But it did go through. All was well. Alright, we got a black wolf over here. Let's try to knock him out real quick. And then, here in just a little bit, I think I'm going to have to take a break and probably get something to eat. Think. I may be playing in a Magic the Gathering tournament tonight. We've got a draft that we do sometimes on Thursdays. It just depends on who shows up. So sometimes we do a draft, sometimes we don't. And so I may or may not be back on in the evening, depending on whether that draft goes or not. If it does, I may still be back on, you know, later, much later, in the nighttime, I suppose. And that just depends on when the draft ends, and, you know, if I can manage to get back to it. But, one way or another, I'm gonna have to eat something here pretty soon, so that I'm prepared in case there is a draft. Because the draft takes hours. So, don't know how many of you play Magic, but it's definitely not short. So, yes. More bandits, what? See if I can pull the whole crew of them. Just two. I only got that bandit and his buddy there. Oh, here comes another one. One thing I definitely appreciate is having this extended target window. That's really awesome. And I don't know if that's something that they had in EverQuest 1, or if that's something that they introduced in EverQuest Legends, but it is a cool feature, one way or another. And, again, it's one of those things that I feel like should be implemented in more MMOs than it is. I feel like there were quite a few good ideas here, and I'm kind of curious which ones came from EverQuest 1 and which ones were created for this game. Got an orc running around over here. Let's get him while we're at it. And then that bandit over there as well, the lookout. The lookout is very unobservant, I gotta say. There's a whole war going on behind him. It's massive. And he doesn't notice. He's just in his own world, doing his own thing. And he's like the worst lookout ever to be known to man, basically. Okay, so we're still sitting at 3 buffer. I wonder where the best place to hunt bats would be in this area. I wonder if Loping Plains is in this game. Certainly Loping Plains would have some bats. If so, it was part of the Fade War area in EverQuest 2. It was significantly higher level, but I don't know if it necessarily would be here because the levels are quite different here, or the zones are quite different. Plus, like I said, I don't even know if you could even exist. I just found out yesterday that apparently Enchanted Lands doesn't exist, but like Misty Thicket does, and Runny Eye does. So that's interesting. And Rivervale also does. So very interesting. I wonder if the concept of Enchanted Lands was created for EverQuest 2. Sure. Hey Ben, how you doing? I'm over here having deep thoughts about, oh no, I don't want to attack that one. Pixie Trickster, sure. I almost went after a fairy, and that would have been a shame, wouldn't it? But yeah, I don't know if Enchanted Lands was a thing at any point before EQ2 or not. But certainly the area was described with, you know, like I said, Misty Thicket, Rivervale, Runny Eye. Those are all very familiar. And I cannot remember Draftling Tower, the Tower of Draftling. Does the Tower of Draftling exist in this game, or did it exist in EverQuest 1? Don't know. And then there are the what are they called? The Night Fiends. I don't know if they are in this game or not either. Bead necklace. All right, let's auto merge. I already have that in the loot. So I think it'll be interesting as I'm going through the game and seeing all of the things that are very different and the things that are really similar. Can't quite cast that yet. I guess I can go beat upon the wolf with my sticks. There we are, let's sell a tooth. The bats are much easier to fight with spells than they were pre-spells, and you had to sort of try to chase them down, and then they would, you know, be difficult to hit because they're in the air and they would run strangely. Often through trees. Now, a lot of things go through trees in this game. Notice that. Unlike me, I don't go through trees. I just get caught on them and stuck there indefinitely. Got some royal jelly, heck yeah. Alright, let's see here. What else do we have? I've only got, you know what, I'm gonna head over to the lesser, no, not the lesser Kadark. I actually want to go, wait, we got another one of these things. Let's see if it works. It's a little weird piece of color, alright? So we're gonna left click it. We did, we got it. It's a thing. It's the same thing as before. Evergreen leaf. How entertaining. If we alt click it, we see nothing. It means nothing. It's tiny. That's all. It's worth a silver. What is it? Who knows? I suspect that we can eat it, or maybe it's something for alchemy, right? I've really got to pay more attention to the strangely colored ground. Maybe I can find more things like that. For now, I'm gonna head toward Felwith, and I think I'm just gonna walk over to the adventuring supplies guy over there, and got a torch. Nice. Well, looks like I'm gonna go by way of these lovely bats that we see here. Walking to Felwith by way of bats. It's not exactly the direction that I want to go, but it's the direction that I'm gonna go. And I'm going to try to stick to just the bats for now, because I have to rush along somewhat. I can get all of them, then I'll take a moment and try to get some of this royal jelly here. That way I can make more honey mead. And we don't know why, but nonetheless, I'm not gonna stop for those. I will stop for the bat. Okay, it's looking promising. Did not get the bat. Alright, try again. Okay, got it that time. All that for a bat wing. Man, what a shame. I do have 5 bat for now though, so that was a lucrative little jaunt. So, to recap, in total, it took about an hour to get 4 bat furs. I need about 30 bat furs. That's a pretty long bat hunting excursion that I would need to go on. Alright, let's come over here to the adventuring supplies dude and have a look. For one thing, I want to check and see if he has the bat fur. He does not have any bat fur. He has various other things. He does have some evergreen leaves. I've got a couple of those myself. Don't really need any. Found them on the ground, as it turns out. He's got some giant bat fur. I have no interest in giant bat fur. It's not helpful. See if there's anything else here that I might want to grab. I'm not really seeing anything thus far that jumps out at me. The ruby crown, that's different. I haven't seen one of those yet to my memory. I wonder if those tattered gloves are the ones that I sold him earlier from the water right over here. Fished them up. Wait, no, it was tattered sandals, tattered cloth sandals specifically. Those are the ones that I sold him. So I guess did he sell out of those? Or is there like a certain period of time that he holds things for, and then he's like, I didn't sell, so I'm throwing it in the trash or something like that. We got Wolf's Bane down here. That could be pretty cool. Whoa, 3 platinum, 1 gold, 8 silver, and 3 copper. That's a pretty significant amount of money there. I don't know about that. Okay, well, interesting stuff. One thing I note is that there's not any of the morning dew here. You can definitely get morning dew from foraging in these parts, and he doesn't have any here. Let's see. Does he have any fishing stuff? He does. He has some fishing bait. Do I want to buy it from him? I wonder. 3 copper per. I don't remember what it costs at my local place in town in Ogre. I'm not sure. And I wonder if the prices have evened out any. I've been doing some things. Now, how can we tell what faction these guys are? So like this guy he judges me amiably. So that's good, right? I mean, we're not going to get much better than amiably. Is there is there better than amiably? That's what we need to know. Amiably seems pretty good to me. Let's go with standing, and well, our standing isn't lovely with anybody. Okay, hold on, let's scroll all the way up here. Okay, so we've got kindly. Emerald Warriors, they like us pretty well. We're not at warmly yet, but these guys down here, they like us. We're at amiably with them. Storm Guard. See, I feel like the Storm Guard is the Kelethin people. Okay, let's try reaction. So my highest reaction is warmly, and that is, oh yes, I see that Dan says believe ally is higher. Yes, it does appear. So if I could get 100 more points with Merchants of Ogre somehow, then I would be viewed warmly by them. Also, the Nearyak ghouls. The Nearyak ghouls like me. I don't know how I feel about that. And the Ogre guards are also fond of me as well. So Merchants of Ogre, but other than those guys, so kindly is actually higher than amiably. That's interesting. Kindly is, it looks a little lukewarm. We got a gray color on them. I don't know how kindly is. I feel like, okay, but neutral is apparently white because I see down there indifferent and they're all white. It's very strange. I don't know if I would consider amiably or kindly to be like better. But apparently they've got kindly being better than amiably here. Dan says, can you sort by standing? Yes, I can. I sorted by reaction because I wanted to see how they feel about me. If I sort by standing, then we get this right here. Emerald Warriors. I actually have the highest standing with the Emerald Warriors. But their reaction to me is only kindly, not warmly. So yeah, I don't know what the deal is there. It's a little strange to me. I feel like I'm uncertain how the system works. So like, our standing with the Ashen Order, for instance, is not terrible, but our reaction from them, they hate us very much. They scowl at us. Dan says, weird how it goes kindly, amiably, threat. Right, exactly. At the very least, your ogre faction should be allied. Yeah, nobody. No, they don't love us at all. Like, if I do this, yeah, we don't have any allies at all. Even our ogre buddies are not really our buddies. They're like, oh, you're pretty okay, but you know, we've met better, you know. Dan says Bashers of Ogre, if I recall, there's a guard faction for ogres. Is the guard faction for ogres, I see. There are definitely factions for ogres in Ogre. But it's like, I kind of felt like, were they not related to the classes that you're being? But then again, with ogres, you have limited class choices. Anyway, I don't know. I'm not sure. But yes, I could try to work on my faction with some of those guys. The problem is that if you work on one faction, then it lowers your faction with the other guys over there. So I just chose to abstain from the faction fights in Ogre on this server. And I don't know if that was a good idea or a bad idea, but it worked out okay. The main thing is, they don't want to sell me cheap products. That's what I'm getting from this. So Merchants of Ogre is the closest that I have. And they don't love me. They like me, but they don't love me. They don't even love me enough to be an ally. It's very strange. So, probably Lannadin. I don't know who he's with, you know? He regards me amiably. He judges me amiably. So I'm thinking he must be part of the Storm Guard, because the only people who feel amiably toward me are the Storm Guard faction members. So Lannadin who is some race. Maybe it's an elf because it has pointy ears. Do the elves, are they the storm guard? Maybe. He looks kind of, you know, he's got the pointy ears. He's got on some boots that make me think elvish, right? And he's got on some little wristbands. Yeah, sure. Elvish, why not? So are the storm guards elvish? I'm uncertain. Maybe. Dan says, I think you're right. Stormguard is Kelethin / Wood Elf. Okay. Alright. Jones says, hello there, how's it going? It's going wonderfully. I'm going to be taking off here in just a few minutes to get some food, I think. But it's going well. How about you? And Dan says that Vinder's a high elf. Alright, so now how can you tell the difference in this game between a high elf, a wood elf, and a half elf? He's got the pointy ears. I mean, I give him that. And he dresses in a certain fashion. So I don't know. Jones says, I'm great, thanks. How are you liking the beta? Oh, it's very interesting. You know, the game in general is very interesting. And I do look forward to it going live so that I can invest a little more, with a little more purpose in, you know, in the time spent, right? Because for now, I'm just trying things out and learning. But I'm a little slow of a learner, so therefore it helps to get a early start. Like, what is happening over here, for instance? This is such a tiny area. Like, even why was I having to duck to go through the alleyway? That's my question. There we go. All right, made it through the alleyway that time. Shop of all hollows? Is that what that says? What does it mean? Shop of all hollows. We got a baking supply person in here. Probably won't kill us. Serenica Greenfinger says, I don't like to speak to ogres, much less sell to them. So is she also then? She would also be... you would think that she would also be a storm guard, but obviously not. She does not love me. Let's consider her for a moment. She looks at me dubiously. So, let's get out of here and go see who it is who looks at us dubiously. Faction. Lots of people I fear are going to look at me dubiously. It's going to be a pretty good list. Okay. I wonder if there's any fell with somethings here. Nope, nothing says fell with as the beginning of it. So even the coalition of tradesfolk don't like me. They don't hate me. They look at me dubiously. They're unsure. Antonius Vale, that would be probably the Canosian tops, right? One would think. Carson McCabe. Now that guy is familiar to me for some reason. That name is familiar. Circle of Unseen Hands. I know who they are. That's got 50 Dark Paw. That's part of EverQuest 2 stuff, too. Yeah, among other people. I think Pinwiggle or something like that. Dan says light skin equals high elf, tan skin and nature clothes equals wood elf. Half elves, I don't know how to explain, but closer to wood elf / human look. Anything Kuwaita doll? That's a name associated with the high elves, right? So same name is in EverQuest 2. It's their language, the Kuwaita doll. I don't see anything that says Kuwaita doll here. We've got Ebon Mask, and so that's another one that I should be familiar with the name. We got a High Council of Erudin. That's that one would think that would be the erudites, right? Eredin in EverQuest 2 is like in the Stoneburnt Highlands area. The erudites. That's where they were mainly at. In Peniel. There was another zone that went along with that. I can't remember. So Dan says Ebon Mask, I think is Dark Elf Rogue, maybe. Could be. Okay, Indigo Brotherhood. That's also a name that's familiar. Can't think of it. Cain Bale. That should also be. That should also be a part of Kinos, right? Cain Bale. There are some quests associated with Cain Bale in Kinos in EverQuest 2. We got Kara over here, which is interesting. Kara aren't in the game yet as a playable character. I don't know if they're in as an NPC or not. So we've got Merchants of Eredin, Merchants of Kinos, and none of those would be applicable here. Pirates of the Pine? How interesting. Alright. Shadowed Men. Alright, so Shadowed Men are in the game. Cool, cool. Steel Warriors, The Dead, The Spurned, Treants of Jagged Pine. Those should be in the Jagged Pine Forest in Zek in EverQuest 2, I believe. And the Treants in EverQuest 2, like I think the Jagged Pine Forest is the one that's burned. It's been burned by the orcs. But that may be where there are like dead ghostly, no, I don't remember, some kind of treants over there. Alright, let's see, Unkempt Druids, and that's it. So, these must be part of one of these factions, right? Because they're looking at me dubiously. Which one? No idea. Yeah, no idea. Alright. Arboreans of the Fada. Interesting. Yeah, I have no idea how to get my faction up here. I'll have to wander around and figure it out at some point. Went the wrong direction. Right into the wall. Did I just fall off of like a 2-step drop and get hurt? I gotta try again. Did I really like come off of here and get injured? I did. Okay, alright. It's a longer fall than it looks like, apparently. Alright, let's head toward our friend, let's see, our friend Lannadin over here, the only one who will actually speak to us. Let's go and try to beg from me. No such luck. Alright, I think I'm gonna go ahead and get off and get some food before I run out of time. It's been a pleasure streaming with you guys as always. And so I've been doing a little bit of work to my Discord channel. I don't know if it's any better or not, but if you guys hop on there, let me know what you think for sure. Also, if you're not following me yet, be sure to follow me and turn on notifications so that you can see the next time that I go live. And hopefully I'll see all of you then. If it's not tonight, I'm sure it'll be tomorrow. So for now, everybody have a good day, and I will see you.